For those of you that I don't know, my name is Bill Marvin. I'm one of the board members of the Mackinaw Area Historical Society. And you know what? Something we never do. You know that old program on TV that started off, this is a city of 800 or 8 million people, and they all have stories, and this is one of the stories. Well, this is a city of 800 people, and they've all got a story. Much smaller group, and we have volunteers who've been on this board of the Historic Society for a long time, and you would not believe how hard the present, past, and all of those who have gone work. I mean, they just put in a tremendous amount of time. Would all those of you who've been on the board or are on the board now raise your hand? Let's hear it for them. And while their hand is raised, the young lady leaning on the bar back there, Mary Ann Moore, she has these wonderful raffle tickets, and she is more than willing to sell you a raffle ticket. It's a great raffle. We only sell 200 tickets, so it's great odds, and you can win up to $3,000. So see Mary Ann. Tonight we're continuing our series of various institutions and businesses in Mackinaw. And this is a personal great story. About 27 years ago, I walked into a restaurant with some friends. We had just moved up here, and they took us to a little place called Audies. I think it was Art and Helen Pauling, actually. And a while into the dinner, this gentleman came up with a pot of coffee. Wanted to know if I wanted a little more coffee, with the most beautiful accent I'd ever heard in my life. In a minute, he was joined by this lovely, gorgeous lady. I think we just lost the light there. Don't beat on the lights.
That's what happens when you don't tell the truth.
And up came Audrey. We've become really close friends over the years. They've shared their family with us. They've shared their story with us. It is an incredible story of how they came to be in the United States, how they met one another, how they raised 5 children, built a business, and put everything together that they have today, now being run by their son, Nick. And it's just an incredible story. I'm not sure who all is going to tell it, but we're going to start, I believe, with Audrey. Audrey,
Yeah,
you're on.
I've got 2 guys here that don't like speaking.
Bodyguards. Okay.
Sacrificial something, I'm not quite sure what, but anyway.
Before you start, I'm going to switch the light. You're going to be illuminated.
Oh. I like it like that.
Is that better? Is that too dark?
Well,
It's too dark, yes.
it'll be all right. It's pretty dark.
Yes.
That's okay. Don't worry. That's all right.
Too dark for the camera.
Worth a try.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, Edgar and I are first generation immigrants. Legal, I think. Edgar waited 2 years for his visa, so I know he's legal. But I'll go back. I know Bill asked me if I would go back before Audies and give you a brief outline of our history, whatever. So I will tell you, Edgar is the professional in the business. So is Nick now, but 2 generations. Edgar went to culinary school in Switzerland and trained there, and then went various places. Ended up that we met in the Bahamas. We met in Nassau. Now, Nassau, if anybody's been there in recent years, was a lot different to when we were there in the 50s, late 50s. It was truly for the wealthy, and it was very small, very few lights, blah, blah. We worked at a club, and I'll tell you this because it's so interesting. I don't think we ever served more than 100 people, but we had a 12-piece orchestra band every night playing for the dinner guests. But the other amazing thing is that the guests could go to town during the day. They had very upscale jewelry stores and boutiques. They would decide what they wanted. They would never pay for it or bring it back. They would sign, and later in the day, the packages would be brought back, and I would check them in. I would pay the people and then put it on their bill. And I mean, there can be thousands of dollars, and it's on their bill for when they check out. Now, can that happen today? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so that was the Bahamas. From there, where did we go from there? Well, Edgar had to have a job to come to when he had his visa. So he was in Toledo, Ohio, Inverness Club. Worked there, and when he was leaving, well, while he was there, he was approached by somebody who was going to be building or started to build a ski lodge in northern Michigan. And that was Crystal Mountain Ski Lodge. It wasn't built at the time. He came up, looked at it, and they wanted him before it was finished so that he could organize the kitchen, blah, blah, which he did. But he came up there, and by this time I'm pregnant. I was always pregnant. 4 years, that's what it was. Anyway, he came up and looked at him. He came out, he said, "But that's up in the middle of nowhere. You can't have a baby there." So he sent me back to England, and then he followed. And while he was at Crystal, they decided they didn't want him to leave. So they said if he would continue, they would pay all our way back and have a place for us to live when we got here. Now, if anybody's been to Crystal Mountain lately, you'll know that it didn't look like that. But that was what it was when it started. And they said they would have
There you go.
a house ready for us when we got back. Oh, now, and that was the house. It was the top of the baby slope. And so I had a young baby, and within no time at all I was pregnant. So I went to the top of the hill carrying one there and one here every day. When we wanted furniture delivered, they couldn't get a truck up there, so we put it on the big snowcat. And the snowcat brought our furniture. We had 2 wonderful years there. And then when I was in the hospital having my 3rd child, we were informed they were going bankrupt. And we just bought a house in Frankfurt. It's pretty scary. But anyway, Everett Kircher had been trying to get a hold of Edgar on and off for quite a while. So when he heard that was going bankrupt, he immediately called him, said, "I'm building a ski lodge up at Harbor Springs, and we'd really like you to come, but before it's built, so you get the kitchen organized, blah, blah." There he went. So he moved up, and then we moved to Petoskey, and we were in Petoskey for 10 years. After 10 years, we began to get a little restless, and he and the manager, Larry Middleton, were very good friends of ours. They started looking, maybe get a place together, and then Larry found Vivio's, and he's Italian, so it's perfect. So he bought Vivio's. Edgar kept looking, and we went to a New Year's Eve party, and Bill Sheppel was there. Bill used to be on the ski patrol at that point. And he said, "How about, why don't you look at Downing's?" And Edgar said, "We can't afford Downing's, that's a wow. And he said, "How do you know unless you ask?" So they got together and asked a lot of talking and going back and forth. We decided we would buy it. But then we had to come up with the down payment.
Yikes.
That was a little tough. The kids no longer had piggy banks. They were raided. We did all sorts of things to find. In fact, excuse the language here, but Larry came by the house one day and all the stuff was out on the lawn being sold. And he said, "Oh, Edgar, the only thing you've got left to sell is your wife's ass." I had 5 kids. I don't think that was sellable. Anyway, so we moved to Audies. Now, there are 3 rooms behind Audies, and that's where all 7 of us lived. We were in the room that was the bedroom and the office. The 5 kids were in 4 beds in the middle room, and they had living room, and we had one very small bathroom. So when the city gets all upset about all our employees coming to town and they don't have bathrooms and all this, you can get by with one bathroom and 7 people. I don't think we smelled that bad. Who knows? But it was fun. And it was the best thing of all because all 5 kids were right there. They were all part of the business. They were all very proud of the business. And so it was truly a family affair. Anybody remember Lou Conant? Okay, well Lou was, the man, right? We were in bed, 2 o'clock in the morning, there's this bang, bang, bang on the door. What the heck? It was Lou Conant. He said, it's after 2 o'clock, the lights are on at the restaurant and it's not locked. If this happens again, the liquor commission is going to hear about it. So there we were, in bed with Lou Conant, whatever. And Lottie, his wife, used to work for us. Another funny thing is that the far room used to be a gift shop and then it was a real estate office, but it was empty, it was vacant when we went there. So Christopher, who was in kindergarten then, that was his playroom. And one day, he and his little friends were in there and they decided to go camping. And they built a bonfire in a wastebasket, which was very safe, except we had air conditioning. So the smoke went all the way through the restaurant and the fire department was called. And there's Chris and his friends. What's the matter? Anyway, that was that. We operated under the name of Downings for 5 years. And they were protecting their investment. So we were not allowed to do too much so far as renovations or anything during that time. And, that was Tony and Nick. Yeah, they were pretty close together, 10 months apart actually.
Irish twins.
And that was Edgar serving that was still at Crystal. We had a bakery while we were in Petoskey. Edgar was still working full-time at the Highlands, but one of the Swiss chefs had left, so we opened up the bakery. Edgar would go in around 5 o'clock in the morning, make donuts, and then go back to Boyne Highlands to work for the rest of the day. I think that's me behind the counter. Must have had Christopher. I had Christopher and then I put him right there in his pram so I could work and have the baby with me. And there was Downings.
There it is.
And as you can see, this was our first Labor Day. And there was no landscaping at the time. And when we had said later on that we were going to landscape, they thought we were nuts. They said everybody would trample it. It was Labor Day. I think we're serving hot dogs right along the wall there. I thought you'd like to see the sheriff's car. Anyway, so after a while, that's as the Chippewa room was, so we donated that here.
Yeah.
And there was another Lloyd Daisy mural in the family room, and we donated that to the school when we remodeled. Huh?
I think that's hanging in the ice rink.
Ice rink.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
the school put it on the ice
On
rink.
the ice rink? Okay. So that's the way that was, and then we redid the Chippewa room. That was where it was just being done, I think, because there's nothing on the walls. Now this is the family room the way it was. And you can't see it very well, but there's a counter. I don't know if anybody remembers the old counter right there in the corner. And all the fluorescent lighting. So, that's the way it was. It was there for a while.
Tables are still original.
They
They don't make tables like that anymore.
And these are 3 of our original waitresses. Yeah, Shirley, Margaret and Jan. Yeah.
Sam's 40-year Audies.
Oh.
And the lady on the right is Mert's mother. And she worked for Edgar at the Highlands and then came and worked for Edgar at Audies or Downings at that point. But these are just old employees. Now this is the dining room as we switched it around. Now, we had a few funny traditions for a while.
The world famous pig.
The world famous pig. Edgar, it's a Swiss thing that on New Year's Eve, dry, you have a live pig and you take it around, and if you kiss it, it's good luck. So this little piglet came to town, and there he is, and there he is again. He spent his night in the bathtub in our one bathroom. No, we'd moved by then. And then he went back to the farmer. Another funny thing, this is my brother and sister-in-law. And they look, my brother and Edgar look quite a lot alike. And so on New Year's Eve, my brother put on a chef's outfit and went in the dining room, and nobody knew the difference. And then he started to speak. Then they knew that it wasn't Edgar. Christopher, of course, loved to show his friends the restaurant, asked if they could come and wash dishes one day. So we said, fine. So we put them on milk cartons and stuff like that, and they were all washing dishes. The other one had to sit on the end to pull it out, and they had a lot of fun. After 20 out, we had quite a few employees who had been there for 20 years. So at 20 years, we had a little thing go and sent them all on a cruise. Dennis was the chaperone, I think, right, Dennis? I think it was just, 4 or 5 days. It wasn't, it was probably long enough for Dennis. And Dennis. And I think they all had a good time. But they had all been with us for 20 years at that point.
Wow, look at that.
We have, I mean, this is an amazing thing about a restaurant, is that we have employees. Dennis was with us 45 years, and then after he retired, he came back and helped for a good many more years. I think we've got a cook working for us now that's been 30 years, a waitress 29 years. So we've had a lot of longevity with employees, which has been amazing. Now this was the highlight of Dennis's job at Audies.
That's what you get for graduating from state.
At least could have made it green.
Well, we went to, I think it was, where do they do all the fish boils? Wisconsin? I can't remember where it was. Anyway, we thought it was so much fun. So we came back and we made fish boils, but we had to go for a step further. And you can tell how he loves it, can't you? Anyway, this is another night. We think that's out at the campground. Nick's sharpening his knife and Edgar's doing something. I think that was, how many do you think you served? Is that about 1,000 people? Yeah, about 1,000
Wow.
kids out at the campground were served. Yeah. That's our daughter Teresa. She also graduated from Michigan State with Hotel Restaurant. So she worked for us on and off quite a bit, and everybody knows Dennis Ambrose. Okay. This was on a Labor Day, the Labor Day walk, and that's Engler and his wife.
Jim Blanchard.
Oh, Jim, yeah, is it Jim? You're right, it's Jim Blanchard. Sorry about that. Yeah. All the politicians used to come in because they had a really big thing. Blue Cross Blue Shield used to have a big breakfast after the walk. We did dinner cruises on Arnold Line, which was great when they could go, but so many times everything would be ready, they'd have everything fixed, and then the weather would turn bad and nobody would want to go, they'd cancel it. So we didn't do that anymore. That is Nicholas serving baked Alaska, and I think that's after Christmas, Spirit of Christmas. And then we started a golf outing in order to raise scholarships for the high school. And that was about 32 years ago. And I think So far, Audies has raised $275,000 through that. 115,000 has been given out in scholarships, and we have 160,000 in the foundation so that it will be perpetual.
That's good.
They have a very good time. Nick spoils them rotten, and everybody pitches in. Terry Sue and JP, who is here, did most of the organizing, I believe, to begin with, right, JP?
Terry Sue, cause I took off and I went different places, but Terry Sue's the key.
Continued, yeah.
We started it, yeah.
Yeah.
But she ran it.
She was the big organizer. A great time is had by all, and if you play golf and you haven't been in it, it's time you did. You'd have a good time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm sure you recognize, a lot of you
Good.
recognize those faces. And the younger generation, that's Nick's kids. And that, see, we actually could work together and have some fun. Merton, Dennis, and ourselves all work together. Oh, our wonderful cooks. J-Mo, yeah, J-Mo's no longer with us. This was it could have been our daughter's wedding, or in a tent setting up something. Back to the kitchen. They're having fun. There's Edgar carving. This was, Nick was teaching his kids how to work the restaurant too. And they were going on a dinner cruise, and that's Caleb, right?
Yep.
Caleb was loading the boat for the dinner cruise.
Heavy lifting.
So he got initiated. One of our postcards. That's a young Nick and John Cool.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they're Nick's kids jumping off the roof having a wonderful
That was before global warming.
Not this year.
I guess we had a little snow then. And this is that beautiful, wonderful looking son of mine who also is professional. Nick did 2 years at business school, university, and then went to the Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, New York. And so he too is very qualified and now owns the business. I know what I should have said is, I did have Angela on there. We did, and everybody pitched in and worked, but when we did the family room, we also gutted the kitchen, and because it was into 2 sections, and we made it all one kitchen, so it was a lot more efficient, and put in a bake shop, etc., etc. So that worked better. And then we really are still what I would call a scratch kitchen. Both Nick and Edgar have cut so much of their own meat. If it's a meatloaf, Nick has probably ground the meat and the meatloaf is made. We have our own bakery. Just about everything really does still come from scratch. It's not too much of Gordon Food Service, not prepared stuff, the basic ingredients. When we expanded to use the file room for a bar, we took the bar from the Chippewa room, we dug it all out. I think, JP, you mentioned that the other day, you were part of the digging.
Dennis and I pounded a few sledgehammers back there to dig out that little hole for the
Yep.
bartender.
So we did the sunken bar. But again, whenever we've done work, it seems the employees have all pitched in, we've all pitched in, and it's been a family affair. So that is about it. Now Nick can tell you, because he has taken that restaurant to a whole different grade. I wished he brought his sheet showing you didn't bring one either, did you? I said, I wanted one of these sheets showing all the things that are going on in a week. How many buses, how many, I mean, it's unbelievable.
You don't
Nick,
have enough paper.
you tell him.
She went a little bit over, so I'll shorten, yeah, see, okay.
No, you get up
No,
there.
that's,
No, this
Oh.
is you training your kids.
oh. Well, now you know why he's the way he is.
It's not my
Have you kept him out of jail?
Yeah, we're teaching him how to cut some meat there, it looks like.
I guess.
Yeah, that's Colin, he never had any teeth. I think he was born. He put his two into a picnic table and then, but everyone felt sorry for him when he was carving. Yeah, that's Caleb, look how small he was, now he's bigger than Colin, but that's carving some ham for, I believe that was I think a Spirit of Christmas again. Or, no, you know, that's the snowball where we.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. the old
That money all went into the foundation. We started the foundation, and then all the income from that went right to the foundation, so that way, when I'm long gone or the kids are long gone, that's perpetual, keeps on going, as my mom eloquently said. Same thing, I believe that would be another Spirit of Christmas with all the crazy decorations.
Back to the madrigal dinner.
No, not those decorations are Spirit of Christmas. Oh, that's part of a 50-year, Sam put together a label we did, for our 50th anniversary. We had Maker's Mark come and we built our own barrel of bourbon and came up with our own recipe, put staves, and I think it was Klaus and Katie pretty much made the right recipe. Mine was terrible, but we ended up agreeing on which one we liked. They made it, and long story short, now we actually sell, I think we got like 247 fifths or 242 fifths that we sell at the restaurant, or drink too a little bit. We're going through it so fast, I cut down. That looks like our employee
Yeah, it's an
Christmas
employee
party
party
with
of
all
some
the old crew. Looks like old Bill Winans and Bill and Nancy there, and Shirley and Laura and her kid. That might be B
Brenda.
and Linda.
Linda,
Brenda there.
That's Eric giving kids. That was his kids. He was giving a tour through the kitchen.
And that's the two girls, it's Brooke and Blaine, evidently.
The bottom.
Did you guys know that?
Audrey was telling me about it.
Oh.
I'm definitely in the front.
Right, so now you should know all those kids.
We must have bought them there. Got them a. Well, it looks like we got Dan a big dessert anyway. I shouldn't have said that.
We figured
He drove them. He was the bus
He
guy
was the
back
bus
then.
driver, yeah.
So he liked desserts still. That was just a small crash.
Salads?
Dropping
Yeah,
some.
the poor waitress said, oh, what have I
Yes,
done?
the
And then the guys are
Everybody
saying,
laughed but
oh,
her.
good
She
job.
started crying and we all laughed. That's Buffalo. The Browns got me a trip out west to get the, I don't know, top 10 buffaloes in the world, and I got over 1,000 pounds of hamburger, and it was all inspected and everything. So I brought all the meat back. I actually made money on that hunt because I sold 1,000 pounds of burger at the restaurant.
Jamie and yourself,
Yeah, not sure what the
not quite
thing
sure
was
what's
or
on
the
there.
food, but something. That's in
That's in,
the bar, but I'm not quite sure. That must be again the snowball. Has to
I
be
think
with.
so,
Oh yeah,
because
that's
we
a
set
cart.
up-
I was thinking it was a house in there, but that's a
No,
cart. So
yeah,
we're just
that's your-
filling all
yeah,
the
we're
wheel
filling
everything
it all
out.
up.
foolish. That was so much work, but it's good. This would be a lot of money for the kids later. That's just during COVID, having to suffer through COVID. You know, I know businesses and the fight of COVID, the handling of COVID, and a good story with that one is actually Carter. We were Caleb's kid there. We were sitting in the dining room, and it was the first day of when they said you can't be open, but you can have takeout. So we're sitting there, and it had been 3 hours, not one penny sale, 3 hours. And I'm looking at that, and we're looking outside, and I'll always remember that. Carter goes, "It looks like Armageddon. Look outside, there's absolutely nothing." I'm like, wow, this little shit's smart. He's got it pegged, and I said, "You will remember this probably for the rest of your life. If not, you should, because I've never seen anything like it." But, you know, they put a bunch of rules and regulations with the mask and all these sign-ins and temperatures, and Katie's following this stuff, and there's paperwork this big, and finally the health inspectors come, and I bring this old bushel of paperwork, and here we get, I don't wanna see any of that. They didn't care one bit. All that, which, you know, yes, it was safe or it wasn't, but on that same line, I also in my head was going, should I just be done? I mean, this is a time where I don't know if we're ever gonna open or how this is gonna go, how financially, we've never closed like that, just uncertain when you're gonna open. I'm like, this would be a good time to just be done. I'm like, well, we got kids, and Carter's actually sitting there with me for some reason. I'm like, well, if you're gonna go another generation, you can't. I know you can't travel, you can't move, so I'm like, I think I'm gonna go all in. So I literally, I knew how much money I had in the bank and timed it out where we replaced two coolers inside the kitchen, which meant pouring. It was going to be 100 bag cement pour. Called up the cement company. They're like, "No, I can't do it." "Come on, man. Let me talk to the owner. I know him. You know, we've done some stuff for him. I need cement." He goes, "Man, I'll be honest with you. I can't get. It's not that I can't do it, because I was telling him I'm an essential business. I'm a restaurant, even though I was kind of closed. I'm still essential." So I said, "I can give you the paperwork." He goes, "I can't get any drivers or anybody to come bring it because their wives won't let them out of the house. They're afraid they're gonna get COVID." And so I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to learn. I was gonna call Leo Terry, and we're gonna pour 100 bags by ourselves. And he called the next day. He said, "You know what? I thought of something." He said, "I know who's gonna do some work for you. If you have him, those two know each other. This guy will stay in the truck. You don't pay him. You don't talk to him. He's gonna have his window down and do the commands." So sure enough, the cement truck pulled up there, and that guy's he's doing hands inside the building, and I'm following his hands to the driver. And them basically two guys, and this is my cement pouring. We're back, and yeah, and it worked. So we got that done. I had two different companies come and do the tile work. We did a whole bathroom in the family room, and we painted all the ceilings and cleaned everything from one end of the building to the other. Every dining room, everything, right all the way around. Katie did all offices and computer stuff. We took 90 chairs, cleaned them all, sanded them, stained them, 2 coats of clear coat, which took, you know, it was about 4 of us, but all my kitchen crew was able to work, and so we got it all done. Same theory. All employees are part of the family, part of the deal, and it ended up being one of the best things I ever did, because we never closed. We closed Christmas and Thanksgiving, so if we want to do tile work, usually it meant the day before Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving Eve, go do some cement work. So that worked out good, the whole COVID thing, I guess. I'd rather not have it, but.
Anybody know whose that is?
That's Veronica and Katie, I think.
Yep.
Me and Katie.
I don't know.
Katie hasn't changed much through the years, has she?
Hair's a little different, Katie. The mustache, I don't know.
Yeah, that's same thing. That's doing wallpaper job in the
That's
family.
when you redid the family
Side
room,
back,
I think.
stripping it down, yeah.
Yeah, see, because now you've put in all the wood, and you've just gotta do that. I don't quite know, that's obviously Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Busy, I'll have to call.
I'll see the
Steve's best
employees.
friends. Oh, here we go again, Jamie show.
I
don't want those up there. I didn't approve of
The
these.
Jamie show.
Yeah,
There's COVID again.
the COVID crew. That, I don't
There's
know
a
what that
party
was.
hardy couple in the group there.
Just being silly.
Christmas thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Fred
Brad,
Thompson.
Freddie.
Yes, Freddie.
Fred Thompson.
I'd like to say we were making an important speech, but
Second.
that might be karaoke. Maybe he's laughing at me singing, cause I don't ever remember singing.
Big Fred Thompson.
Just
Yeah,
being
that's,
silly.
Wearing fur hats. That's the old school front.
It was getting a little overgrown.
Some nice landscaping though. Landscaping looks good. Huh?
It did look good to begin with, now it got to its point now.
New sign?
Yep.
I wanted to get a new car, but Katie said we had to get a new sign. So, yeah,
Car's cheaper.
we got a flashing LED strobe light sign there. Sam did all the layout on the sign for me, so it looked good. That's a
That's an employee
Employee party
party
at,
at your sister's.
Katie's.
isn't
place there, sister.
Who's
That's
that?
back when I had hair.
Yikes!
it? And
That
I
was-
looked at it and I said, is that Edgar?
That's actually me in my parents' bedroom and office. That's what Oh, and this was just the other day for the 50th anniversary celebration. That's it.
Oh, man.
I think we've gone well past our limit, but
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has
There's no
questions or
limit.
anything.
Any
My
questions?
dad would be more than happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions for Nick or? Now, they have been generous enough to bring some samples of their fine wines. And if you would like, there's a little sip of wine on the back bar, and there's also some refreshments.
I was in Honduras, and I told them I'm from Mackinaw City, and so they don't know where it is, but I'm a deer hunter. Okay, fine, you're a deer hunter. And I went across that bridge and I got stuck, and there's this really great restaurant right next to the bridge. So in Honduras, they know.
Now, you wear an Audies sweatshirt or hat, I don't care whether you're in Arizona, Florida, wherever it is, and someone says, oh, you know where Audies is? You know, you guys are famous, you were rock stars. Any other questions for them?
I gotta say, I was setting up a regional post office meeting for new things for the post office for Northern Michigan and the UP. And I told the lady who was organizing, I said, I'll send you a map where Audies is. She goes, everybody knows where Audies is. She just sent us a map. I said, well, I guess living there, I don't know that. But, yeah, it was well known.
Anyone else? I want to thank you for coming. Be sure to see Mary Ann for raffle tickets. Be sure to go over and greet our president, Sandy Planasek, who works her buns off. And very proud tonight to have some of our past president, Larry Flynn's family here. Would you stand up, please? Just say hi. Larry was a great president, a very enthusiastic, energetic guy, and we miss him greatly. We have a long history of presidents over the years, and fortunately, I'm one of them, and I'm still standing. So, thank you for coming. Please enjoy yourselves. Feel free to chat with Edgar and Audrey, and force Edgar to say something. Come on, make him answer some questions. It's been a really pleasant, almost 30 years for us to know them. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
Um,